Hola Mthethwa, welcome back. Welcome to Dibalen Football Channel, Kaizer Chiefs Football Channel, football from the fans' perspective. Today we are speaking about two things, the developments on Coach Nabi, but also I just want to have a reflection on the game that we lost against Sekhukhune. It's always important to reflect on those things. I think I was supposed to have, reflected long time ago, immediately after the game, but yeah, man, that game, 3-1 loss against Sekhukhune, 2 goals by Bradley Grobler, 1 by Munare. I think I was frustrated from the beginning of the game. Kaizer Chiefs, by the way, didn't play bad. We're not poor. We're not extremely poor. We had most of the ball, but we didn't do anything with the ball. That was one thing that worried me. And I know why we didn't do anything with the ball. That's one thing that we need to speak about. The second thing is that Sekhukhune had a game plan, sit back, allow Kaizer Chiefs to commit, then play that high ball behind. And if there's competition on the ball, we know the tall players in Sekhukhune, the right winger in Sekhukhune or Bradley Grobler will compete and win that ball. And then the other players around Bradley Grobler will then collect the second ball. The first goal came exactly like that. And my problem with the first goal is that Eden McCarthy committed together with Paseka Mako, and they don't win that ball. And my problem is that why is Eden McCarthy committing to that ball so far as a centre back, was very, very far lost, and they don't win that ball? That's my other problem. And then it is collected, and then a cross ball is played, and yeah, Grobler finishes. And that has been the game plan. A long ball, and Grobler won the long balls. The other players of Sekhukhune won the long balls against Kaizer Chiefs, who were not able to compete on air, and that was my problem. And the third goal as well came exactly like that. They play the ball. Sekhukhune doesn't attack. They don't dominate. They're not interested in, in the rest of everything that happens in the game, building up and moving forward. They play the ball at the back, circulated. They allow Kaizer Chiefs to compete, and then they play that long ball. Munare runs past our defenders, scores. And there is another problem that I want to also point out in that. There's two problems why Kaizer Chiefs couldn't do anything with our possession. And then the third goal rests on things that I've been saying repeatedly about one guy. I don't want to single out a player and be like, I don't like the player, but I think there are games for certain players and there are games for certain players. And also, there's another mistake that I think was committed by the team. I mean, okay, the first thing that we must speak about, I think, one, is why is Sekhukhune removed and replaced by Eden McCarthy when he's been playing well? When he has played very well in the games that he was brought in, when Eden McCarthy was injured, and he covered very well. And this happened even last season. I think we must speak about it. I mean, I don't think it is fair for Sekhukhune. Last season, towards the end of the season, he is a player that is able to, come in and fight for the team and compete whenever he's called upon. But when he performs, then he's dropped the first time, and I mean, other center backs, other players come in and they are fit to play, he's the first one to be dropped. I don't think that is based on merit, and I don't think that is right. I think in terms of work in the team, if you play and then you get injured or something happens, then I come in. If I come in and then I perform, I play the second game, I perform, and there seems to be, there is no drop in terms of the performances between when you were playing and how I've come in and how I've managed to replace you. I don't think it is fair to remove me when now you are back from injury. It is only fair to keep me, because we must fight. We must not create an impression that some players are guaranteed starters in the team and some players are not. Particularly now with Kaizer Chiefs having a lot of players. We brought in around 11 players, right, in the beginning of the season. I mean, during the transfer window. And my understanding is that there's gonna be a competition, and that there must be no players that have guaranteed, starting lineups, who seem to be favored, or some players seem to not, be given, seems they're not given, the chances even when they deserve them. And I think that is one problem that we had there. And the second problem is that Kaizer Chiefs had a lot of the ball, a lot of position, but couldn't do anything with it. And my problem is this: I don't think you play a player like Ndlovu and Mthethwa at the same time. I understand Ndlovu is a bit of a number 8 player, but if you play both of them, then you don't have a killer pass. You don't have someone that is able to, release players, to be creative enough. You don't, particularly understanding Mthethwa's, weaknesses that we have been speaking about for a very long time. The guys may be good in terms of marking, but when we have the ball, he's not assisting. Then you drop Cele, then you play both of them with Ndlovu. I don't think you're assisting the team, and that didn't assist the team at all. And the third goal as well, because Mthethwa is that player, initiates the press. That's what we need him for. And then he presses the ball. We're not in a danger zone. I understand that we're in a hurry. We want to get a second goal. He initiates a press. His teammates don't join him, and then leaves the gap at the back. Monarch decides, okay, there's no midfield. I might as well go join the attack, and then he's found alone, and then he scores the goal. And I think it's a very poor decision by Mthethwa. And I'm raising this. I'm not trying to target the one player. I think there is a problem with Mthethwa's game. I really have a problem with it. I don't think he's going to assist Kaizer Chiefs. I think the sooner the coaches, understand it, the better. I don't think he's the right guy. Our goal scored by Flavio da Silva, I think, is a good goal. I liked it. the moment Serino turned, and the pass, how he passed the ball, how he lays it in the pathway of Lilepo, and Lilepo takes it, drives the ball, and then cuts back, and then Flavio da Silva scores the goal. I think that was a good goal by Kaizer Chiefs. But between then, there was really nothing that came from Kaizer Chiefs. And that is what worried me in this game. That is what really concerned me in this game. I've already addressed the issue of dropping of Zita Gunika. So the second thing that we need to speak about. So from that game, we hear that the stories, before the stories, I can feel the fans of Kaizer Chiefs are agitated. Some want to boo the coach. Some are calling for changes. Changes come very late, even, with Villagaz. The changes come late. Doesn't seem like there is that form of initiative from the coaches, which is something that I had a problem with in the first place. One, you are wrong in terms of your selection. Very, very wrong. Two, there are things that are happening in the game that you can fix in terms of that ball, that Sekhukhune ball. Three, you don't make the changes on time. And fans, I think they're agitated, by the time the game ends, and that's it. And then following few hours after that, or a day after that, then we hear that Coach Nabi, there's problems between Kaizer Chiefs and Coach Nabi, and that Kaizer Chiefs is releasing Nabi. Now, here's a problem with this, is that we're told the reason is a coaching license expired. The reason the wife is not okay. And then we're told, there's just something that is happening between Kaizer Chiefs and Coach Nabi. I think it's a very sad situation. I don't think that's the right way to release a coach. I don't think it's the right decision. I do think there are problems with Coach Nabi that I think you could sit down as management and everyone and say, but we think you are rigid in this and this. We don't want not over interference, but to discuss performance, to have that kind of a frank discussion and see if there will be no improvements. Mind, this coach was brought in and he won us that Nedbank Cup. People are still not convinced, but the fact is that he freed us from 10 years, almost 10 years of imprisonment or 10 years of drought. And he brought something to us as Kaizer Chiefs fans, and we will forever be grateful for that. And I think if a coach came in and did that, you owe it to him or to yourself to say, okay, let us discuss, let us have, if there's going to be a separation, it must be, mutual, it must be understood properly. There must be no confusion. There must be no impression that is created that the difference between the assistant coaches and Coach Nabi, they are playing different games and they have different approaches in the game. I mean, these are people that are brought by Nabi, and these are people that Nabi trusted that they will assist him. And if today we are going to see a difference between Nabi and Coach Khalil and Kazi, then I have a problem with that. I really, really have a problem with that. And there's a lot of fans of Kaizer Chiefs that are tempted by this idea that these two coaches will do well, and in fact they are doing well. I know after 4 games that we won 3, we drew 1 and all that, and then there's 1 game where Nabi is involved and then you say there's a problem. I really think there's a bit of unfairness in that. But if people see what they see, then let's see it. But I have a problem. The last time we thought an assistant coach is better than the coach that brought him was under Athazwane, and I don't know how it ended. I don't want to repeat how it, I do know how it ended. I don't want to repeat how between Kaizer Chiefs and Coach Zwane things ended and how we're so disappointed and unhappy. And I don't believe that these 2 coaches and these assistant coaches together, the technical team, represent something that is different from Nabi, or they represent some form of progress from Coach Nabi. I have a serious problem with that. I don't think that is the case. And I think, which I wish I am wrong, but I think if the management and everyone is banking on these guys, we might have a problem in the going forward. I mean, in the middle of the season and all that, I think we might have a problem. But I'm hoping that I'm wrong, because then if I'm right, then it's Kaizer Chiefs that's going to be that will suffer. It's us who will suffer, the fans that will feel the pain. But I think really Coach Nabi is not done well, is not done properly. And I mean, considering the fact that they just brought 11 players, it's difficult to integrate 11 players in a team that already had, players. And we have not released as many players as we're supposed to. And that's one thing that Coach Nabi also was alluding to, that we need to release players. I mean, we just brought so many players. There's a lot of complications. Some are injured, some work permits, some we don't know exactly what is happening. I feel there's a serious problem in integrating these players. Easy to bring in Marco and Monyane, easy to bring in Da Silva, because we don't have a striker. Marco and Monyane, I think they represent some, it is an easy pick on them. And we've seen, even when Froslo was playing, that it is always an easy pick between the right backs we have and Monyane. Very easy. And I think with the wingers and the rest of the players, it becomes a problem, really, because you can't fit in almost 40 players in the pitch, and it's difficult. It's going to be very difficult to accommodate them. In the midfield as well, there's a lot of problems. It seems they can't find the fit. They can't find a proper combination even there. Don't know what is happening with Chislet. We don't know what is happening with even other players, man, in the wing, in terms of wingers, in terms of attackers. Really, they have not been integrated. Velebai, not integrated. Chislet, Shinga at the back. But it's just been 5 games. It's just been 5 games in the season. I don't think we should have been harsh. But yeah, man, looks like the decision has been taken. That is my view. If I were to rate Coach Nabi's contribution to Kaizer Chiefs, really, I will give him 6.5 to 7 out of 10, considering the fact, the standing fact that we did not know how to celebrate for a cup win for over 10 years. There were kids that were born, went to school, they have not seen Kaizer Chiefs lifting a legit cup and Coach Nabi brought this team, brought everyone together, and there was a fighting spirit, and then we got Nedbank Cup, and we're now in the continental competition, CAF Confed, which is due to us winning the Nedbank Cup. So I would give him that. And the fact of statistics, so many games played, so many laws, so many considered, and all that, I think those things must be rated, because I was listening to Velile Myandu and others as well. A lot of stats that are brought into the conversation of Nabi, which I think it's going to mislead you if you go according to those stats, because Kaizer Chiefs was not playing any better before that, and Kaizer Chiefs didn't give Nabi what he wanted even before that. He arrived here, he had to work with what we have, and we won what we won with what we have. Yes, we missed the top 8, but the fact is that we had a cup, and trust me, Nedbank Cup is not a child's play, and that cup is not something we should undermine as an achievement. And that is where I am as a fan. I'm not into so much statistics, so much data analysis of what is happening at Kaizer Chiefs. And we have seen the integration of the young players. He had really, for honest, had to work with young kids, young players, to use a lot of these young players. He had to bring in and rely on them, and that has been very tough season for Nabi, who navigated through the tough season and gave us what he gave us. And for me, that is where I am. I'd like to hear from you, and let's hear what you think. You think this technical team that is remaining now will give us something? You think Kaizer Chiefs, what are the chances of us really competing this season? I think the decision to remove Nabi really for me has demotivated me. I think the chances, if we had 30% chance of competing this season, I think right now we are back at perhaps 15%. We're a team right now that is not better than it was, in the past five games, with the removal of Nabi, of course. Let me hear from you. That's it from me. I'm a Coach for life.